Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Heal, a podcast for the youth by the youth.
Make sure you follow on your streaming platform to ensure you never miss an episode.
And feel free to follow us on all social media platforms at heal.project to stay updated with the pod and future events.
Hey everyone, today Caitlin and I are bringing on a very special guest, and that guest is Lisa from WomenWise.
Hey, Lisa, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Heal.
Okay, so today we're excited to be asking Lisa a few questions to get to know her better and how she embodies heal. So I guess we can kind of just get into it, Lisa. So our first question is, what is WomenWise and your organization, WomenWise, and how did it come to be?
Yeah, so WomenWise is my effort at trying to really build new community in Tulare County. It's kind of goes hand in hand on how it started. I used to work for a community center here in Visalia, known as the Manuel Hernandez Community Center, and I was helping run the art department there, and I just really, really loved it. But I really wanted to do more specifically around social justice work and equity. And working at a community center that's predominantly ran by the city, there were a lot of parameters that I had to jump through. There were finance hoops. And so after talking with a lot of my mentors and working in the philanthropy sector, I just really felt encouraged to kind of spread my wings. I did a couple art events here and there, and it wasn't until the pandemic hit that I really knew that I had to like amp up my own efforts. And then the Black Lives Matter movement really gained momentum in the public eye. And so it was kind of like divine timing to officially get my business license and grow my influence. So WomenWise started last year during the pandemic, and my hope was just to provide a safe space for folks, kind of like what you guys do with Heal.
That is so amazing. Wow. All right. Now, I have a quick little question for you. What would you say your work is like on a daily basis?
Oh man, it's so fun because initially I was working at an art department for the community center. So my day to day was like arts and crafts, and I loved that. And so when I was working with a business coach on WomenWise, I was like, here's what I would love to keep is that art structure. You guys know art is such a big part of wellness. And so I wanted to keep that. And so other research that I'd done was like, what does a traditional successful work business week look like, which is about 30 hours. So a traditional day looks like lots of arts and crafts, probably maybe 2 hours of crafting, followed by another 2 hours of like envisioning and learning. So today, that looks like being on this podcast with y'all. And then I'm going to be working with an herbalist a little bit later in Tulare County, just chatting with her about how do we infect more wellness by way of plant medicine in Tulare County. So I know it sounds weird, but I feel like it's really a pride point for me to feel like I've been able to sustain a living and also do what I love. And yeah, really a lot of flexibility. I'm really big on accessibility. So my days are filled with a lot of fun, actually.
Wow, that sounds amazing. You're definitely go, but at least you have that really strong work or a balance with your work. So yeah. Okay, so our next question. You can make this as personal as you want, but have you ever had an aha moment or a moment when you knew that running WomenWise was really something worthwhile?
Oh man. Oh, let's see. I think before I decided to launch WomenWise, I had like a 9-month fellowship with the Latino Community Foundation. And this was really just to sustain a life before I launched WomenWise. And I was sitting talking to my mentor, and I was like, but look at all these awesome nonprofits. Like, look at Tulare County. There's so much opportunity here. And she just like looked at me and she was like, and so go do it. And it was like all my complaining and nagging and like protesting and advocating for Tulare County, she kind of just like put up the mirror and she's like, well, then what are you waiting for? And I felt like it was such an aha moment. And I think just maybe as a brown woman, there's so many times where we like dole our own sparkle. I'm like the oldest of six, so I'm so used to serving. Like, let me make sure the kids are okay. Let me feed. Let me cook. Let me clean. So it was really like the first time that like what I wanted me to kind of. And that's just, it's still such an aha moment, because even looking back, Women Wise is almost going to be 2 years old, and I'm like, holy cow, that was all from a moment where I just like sat down and someone forced the mirror in front of my eyes. And so if anything, folks, I think even for you too, also, it's like you are everything that you need. You have everything that you need inside of you, and just trust and have faith in your skill set for sure.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I think that when you have that mirror moment, it's just like you honestly feel like you're on cloud nine and unstoppable. So I'm so glad that you shared that with us.
Yeah,
Now, oh, go for it.
no, I was just curious if you guys had something like that with the podcast, because I feel like you guys all do so well just chatting with one another. I'm sure there was an aha moment with the podcast too.
No, yeah, we had that same moment. I think when we hit like a slight roadblock with like our timing and us both being like seniors, it was like, oh, we have to make time. But like we were so passionate about making this podcast together, and we really wanted this to be a part of Heal's like foundation. So it was just the best. I'm so glad that we did it.
Right. I couldn't agree more.
All right. Now, with Women Wise being local, I was wondering how running a community organization affected your view of Visalia and Tulare County.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I'm not going to lie. Before launching Women Wise, like I had known all these beautiful, brilliant people had existed in the shadows, but I was a little apathetic or a little hopeless, because I felt leadership didn't really reflect that. But as I continued braving Women Wise, it's just like I found more people. I think I want to highlight Matthew. We connected through the Women Wise platform, and it was like then I got to meet you all and the team, and then I got to meet API PAC and really sharpen more community with family services of Tulare County. So it was like the divine was sending me more fuel to not be so apathetic and not be so hopeless. And looking back, I just love the journey. I love the people. There are so many more people that are like us than I thought. And so that makes me feel so hopeful. And it's what started the hashtag Central Valley Brilliance. It was like every single person that I thought was smarter than me, more passionate than I, more heart centered than I. It was like, whoa, there are so many cool people hiding in regular day in Tulare County. So I hope that this podcast continues to shed light on the brilliance that resides here, because we experience serious brain drain in Tulare County. But Women Wise has gifted me more hope in this community for sure.
I completely agree. My mom and dad have always said that there's a handful of doers, but there's an even larger group that don't speak out and do in silence. And I think those people are the most powerful. So I'm so glad that you stated that. I love that.
Totally. I think even Jackie too. It was funny because I had been stalking Jackie on the gram before I had realized she was connected with Heal. And it's funny because it's like, how does the universe send you, or how does the algorithm work? It's like all these woke folk are in my suggested box in Women Wise. So totally with you on that, Caitlin.
I love that. That's so funny. Well, in any case, I definitely think you are the embodiment of hashtag CV Brilliance, Lisa. So thank you for that. Okay, sorry. A little bit starstruck. So
I'm like over here fangirling too. Yay!
Yes. Okay, so kind of going on the same route that we were going, I guess. Can you explain to listeners and youth out there who are listening about what they can do to get involved with Women Wise, or the steps that they can take?
Absolutely. So one of the easiest ways is just becoming aware. A lot of people think that you have to go out and physically volunteer, go physically pursue a degree, and those are fantastic. And I want to definitely elevate and uplift that. But a great entry point is just getting learned up. Like what is happening in your community. So I try my best on the Women Wise platform to elevate local events that I feel are awesome for equity, awesome for learning. So you can simply follow the Women Wise platform or even the Heal platform. I think those are great starter points. If you want to have a little bit more of engagement, if you're like an advocate, say, like you know where the injustices lie and you know that you want to take an active role, we also offer gratitude classes. And a lot of people kind of turn an eye and like, how does gratitude have anything to do with equity and justice work? Well, I was a community organizer from about 15 to 23 doing youth organizing, and I wore my body out. I think this is typical for communities of color. We're used to for offering our labor in exchange for capital. So I think it was one of those things. So the gratitude classes are really to remind you that you are more valuable than anything you do. Your health and well-being is more important. And so gratitude is actually a health and wellness point. And it also allows us to slow down and say thank you to the things that do nourish us. And so we do a lot of gratitude for community organizations. We do a lot of gratitude for self, a lot of gratitude for struggle. And I know that that sounds crazy, but we know that that toxic positivity exists. And so we find a way to use gratitude to find things, to find ways to be grateful for our trials and tribulations because they make us stronger warriors in the work. So gratitude classes for sure, because we care about your body. We also do a lot of art events in the community. So if you're more artistic and you really, we find that art has a way of transcending language. Sometimes it's really hard to like speak justice, but it's way easier to paint it or create it. We would love for you to join us. We do a lot of art, community art. We really believe in interconnected healing. And so we find ways to blend art with that. So what does that mean? We're building a mural in downtown Visalia with partnership of Urbanist Collective, another local organization in the Valley. They're really, really awesome. And we were just talking about themes of equity, abundance, migrant farm workers, first generation college graduates, all that good stuff. And so come meet us, come paint with us. You can find that on our Instagram page. It'll connect you to our link tree, which will get you that sign up link so I can reach out to you and get you looped in with us. And if you're wondering, does this mean you're actually going to paint a mural? The answer is yes. We have a mural, we have a building, and we have the supply. So all we need is the people power if you want to come join us. So those are some great ways to get looped in. And if there's anything outside of that, like I'm a big fan of volunteerism. Service is, you believe in interconnected communities, and that means you believe in helping folks. So I highly recommend you serve your community in whatever capacity you can. If that's being a virtual warrior, showing up in the comments, that's important too. So if you want to learn more, you can always reach out to me in my Instagram DMs. I'm happy to meet with you one-on-one and find a good way to get you plugged in. I know a lot of local nonprofits that would be grateful to find anybody willing to provide that sweat equity, if you will. Oh, and also talk to Jackie too, because I think that you guys are doing those awesome community cleanups. And that's like next level. We tried to launch something called One Step at a Time, where we would pick up trash like one step at a time. I'm a big fan of that. We didn't have the capacity or the woman power to sustain that. So I definitely want to send that over and support your all efforts because we love that.
Yeah, thank you. That's on behalf of Students for Climate Visalia. So definitely follow them on Instagram as well. But thank you so much for that, Lisa.
I hope that made sense. I kind of was rambling for a second.
No, you were perfectly fine. That was amazing. That was just a small little bubble too, guys. Remember, make sure to DM Lisa and go to Women Wise Instagram if you guys want to hear more. She's such an amazing person from this podcast. I'm sure you guys can tell. All right. And for one of our final questions, Lisa, we would like to ask you if you had 1 minute in front of 1 million people to talk about your work and its importance or anything that you would like to say, what would it be?
This one is hard. I feel like there's a part of me that wants to go into like my elevator pitch of like, join us, join Women Wise. We're on a path to unleash Central Valley brilliance. But there's another part of me that's like, truly, if I had 1 million people and I only had 1 minute, I would try my hardest to encourage people to just love one another more, like love people in your circle more, because that's really, really the root of Women Wise is interconnected communities. And when communities feel safe and strong together, they really can achieve anything. And the way that you start that is just by loving on the people that are already in your space. So if I had 1 minute, I would tell you to probably text someone that you care about deeply and tell them that you love and you care about them, or lend out a helping hand to somebody that you know that is struggling, because we really are all we have in this world. And that's kind of the best and juiciest parts of being a human, is being able to like have those good human interactions. And if you're comfortable embracing one another, this is a decolonized kind of framework. This is the beauty of being brown, is being within our culture, and we're all about abrazos and hugs and food and culture. So love on your people, and if you want bonus points, love on your people by feeding them or hugging them. Words of affirmations are clearly my love language. Or educating them also too is considered a love language too. That's how you can love on your people also.
Yeah, I think those are some amazing takeaways. Thank you so much. So, sorry, we'll probably edit this part out. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, I'll just start. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Lisa. That was so amazing. If you take one thing away from this conversation to anyone listening, I definitely think that it's community. I think that Lisa for sure embodies community. That's what Women Wise embodies. And so I strongly encourage anyone listening to go follow Women Wise on Instagram, on other social media platforms as well, at Women Wise, to hear more from Lisa and her organization and all of the work that they do.
Yes, guys, go follow Women Wise. And while you're at it, make sure you follow us on the platform that you are listening on, and visit @heal.project on Instagram.
And we would like to give a special thank you today to Lisa for being our first guest on this How to Heal podcast.
Yeah. Yes, Lisa, you were absolutely amazing. We loved having you.
Yeah, normally I do that obnoxious, like, pew, 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 pew. That's like totally happening inside my body right now. So thank you.
All the sound effects for Lisa. All right. Well, that's it for today's pod, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure you guys tune in next week to find out more about how to heal.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Lisa.
Of course.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Make sure you tune in next week, where we will bring more community members in to talk about how they heal.
Again, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms at heal.project to stay updated with the podcast and future events.